Hello, amazing, beautiful beings. This is Milena. As promised, this week we're going to talk about why some of our biggest fears and our beliefs, the things that we hold as true, become self-fulfilling prophecies. The short answer to this is because it's the law. It has to. This is how energy and reality functions. But we are going to look at some specific examples because that is something that usually helps us integrate that information and understand it at a level that enables us to apply this information in our lives as opposed to simply having it as an intellectual concept in our minds. When we believe something, usually the problem with that is that we're not quite aware of our beliefs. How many of our beliefs are we fully aware of? Can you sit down and write them down? How many can you list if you try? I have done this exercise with my students, and oftentimes they were not able to list very many. And that means that most of our beliefs, the grand majority of them, are at a subconscious or unconscious level. And this is when I call them programs. They're programs anyway, we can call them whatever, but I usually call them programs when we are not aware that we have them. So what do? Well, one of the biggest steps is to become aware of them. How can we do that? We're going to talk about in just a second. But let's look at some examples. Let's say that I have the fear that my partner might leave me for whatever reason. We can look in the past, we can find our abandonment issues stemming from our families, whatever. For the purposes of this video, this doesn't matter. So, what am I going to do? I might not even be aware that I have this fear. Or I might be aware and I still have it and I don't do anything about it. In my words and actions, usually unconsciously, not knowingly, I will be creating situations and doing things to push my partner so hard that he eventually or she has to respond to that in the way that I most fear they would, in leaving me or abandoning me as I fear. So basically, I will say things and I will do things, not realizing that I'm doing that, to push them so much that eventually they'll have to give in and abandon me and leave me. It's very rare that they have that level of awareness or knowingness to help, recognize, or whatever. It's up to us to do that. So eventually, that belief, that fear is going to become self-fulfilling. We are going to bring about the thing that we most fear. What do? Well, we process that fear. How do we process it if we don't even know we have it? Well, we look at the aspects of our lives that feel uneasy, that feel dissonant, that feel like they're not the way we want them to be. What aspects of your life are you not quite satisfied with? And then you look at the sentences that you say about them, especially when a certain situation has occurred. For example, you say, they don't appreciate me at work, I'm not successful at work, I'm not able to make money, my partner takes me for granted, or my children take me for granted, my parents are not happy with my success, or they don't find me successful, or they see me as failure. These are the sentences that will lead us to these maybe subconscious beliefs or fears or programs that we have. They are the thread that if we follow, we are going to get. So the sentence that gives you the most kind of a, maybe it's a bird, it creates a kind of a stronger feeling within you. You know that that's the program, that's the belief that you need to work with. You take that sentence and then you do the processing exercise that we've talked many times about, that I personally know from inner events, and I think everybody on the planet can benefit from using, but of course it's up to every single one of us. So that's how you get to the belief. You do the processing exercise, you reintegrate, you purify that energy, you process it, and then you move on from there. And then you see that your reality is going to absolutely reflect that change energy because you're not going to be creating it. Normally, when we don't know that we have that belief and we don't do anything to process it, we bring about certain things, certain experiences, and then we tell ourselves, see, I got the confirmation. And That's how it was. And we're absolutely convinced that our beliefs or our fears were justified because we have now had the experience and we are now the victim of our own creation, not knowing that we're the ones who have created it. And we've gotten full confirmation from that. And then we do it over and over again in different aspects of our lives. And we see ourselves as victims where things are happening to us, as opposed to seeing us as creators of these experiences, which in fact we absolutely are. Let's say I have the belief that my partner cares more about his family than he cares about me. I will absolutely look for and find confirmation to that. And I'll be absolutely convinced that it's true. See, he did that and he did this and he did that. The same thing is if I believe that I'm very important to him and that he takes how I feel into consideration, I will absolutely find confirmation for that. In my experience, one of the programs that I ran for many years was that my partners, or even let's say my daughter or whatever, my parents, but mostly with my partners, that they don't care about how I feel. And guess what? In my words and actions, I probably pushed them in a way where they would say certain words or do certain things. But I will absolutely find confirmation that they didn't care how I felt. And sometimes I would hear those same words, I don't care. And I say, see, there you go. They don't care about me. And that was one of the ways in which I was falling into victimhood, not recognizing, well, this is my belief. This is my driving force, my driving energy. And until I create the change here, I purify it, I free myself from that subconscious program, I will continue getting the exact same confirmation. We see things the way we see things, depending on our vibrational level, depending on our focus, depending on these subconscious programs that are running. And I can see and have both of those experiences. Both of them would be true and valid. And that is true for any situation that we find ourselves in. So how are you seeing, interpreting the situations of your life right now? When it comes to your relationships, when it comes to the things that you do, when it comes to your very physical environment right now. All of those things are very, very, very much dependent on us. Look at the aspects of your life where things aren't exactly how you want them to be. Notice the sentences, find the belief, do the processing exercise on them, and watch your external reality change. And the thing is, we sort of know these things. We sort of know that, yes, our beliefs create our reality. We might even be posting it on social media. But how are we integrating and using that information in our lives? Instead of playing the victims and feeling like things are happening to us and they're somehow outside of our control. It's not about control. It's about the fact that we're creating and co-creating them. And our partners in that co-creation are very willing to help us bring to the surface all of our fears and beliefs and the energies that we create with, so that we can see them clearly. And in case we're not huge fans of that creation and that experience, we can always tweak them and make them different. But this basically is the essence of it. Look at what you're believing. Look at what you're creating and know that you can make a change right here, right now. And it's much easier than you thought. And if you need more help getting to the bottom of some of those beliefs or transforming them within your system, within your being, book a session at askmilena.com. Remember to subscribe to my newsletter as well as the channel if you have not done so already, and click on the bell down below so that you can get notified of all future videos, which usually come out on Friday. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.